Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy Neo XO, and the spoilers for Black Clover chapters 313 are now on the internet. So you know what that means? That means we got a lot to talk about. So with that said, let's get right into the video. Now, for the majority of this chapter, it actually is kind of like a flashback kind of chapter. We get flashbacks of Captain Yami and kind of see an introspective of how he is as a person. And I'll go through those in this video. We see in this chapter that it marks the defeat of Morris. That's something that a lot of people weren't expecting. I feel like, me personally, I really wasn't even a big Morris fan, so I'm kind of glad they got that boy out of there. Like, we don't need a million chapters with Morris in it. He's fighting against the complete squad of the Black Bulls. I don't think he could have won, you know what I mean? So, I mean, why stretch it out for a million chapters? Because it looked like at the end of this chapter, we got a plot twist. I'm going to mention it right here in case I forget to talk about it later. But we see like a crack, like Yami gets saved, all right? So we see like a crack and, you know, it's kind of like Yami saved, but there's something looming on the horizon. And me personally, that looked like another gate of the underworld has opened. To me, that's what it looked like to me. So that's something crazy. I'll probably talk about that more if I remember at the end of the video or somewhere in the video. Now, after the defeat of Morris, that's whenever we kind of get back with Yami. Yami starts talking from, he's in this like ritual. He starts talking from like the thing that he's stuck to, the stake, whatever you want to call it. And he's just kind of laughing and smiling a little bit, which is crazy because like I know it had to like be painful to go through like them extracting your magic resources from your body and stuff like that. It had to be painful, but you know, he's smiling through the pain. He don't look too hot though. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, he don't look too hot. I hope that he don't, I hope that somebody can like heal him up, because like he has like cracks in his body and stuff like that. But you know, through all that, he's still smiling, so who knows? So one of the things Yami says in this chapter is pretty much like a joke. He's like, so you guys like me that much that y'all came, risked y'all life, and saved me? And you know, we have a cool panel with the Black Bulls all like filled with glee. Like they are absolutely smiling from their entire face. Like obviously they're gonna be really happy that they have their captain back and he is not dead. You know, throughout this whole time they were in their heads, they're like, all right, we have to do this, our captain is literally gonna die. So for them to see that their captain is, like back to the way he was in a way, because Yami always jokes. So the fact that he's joking around with his squad, they take that as a sign, like a good sign, a really positive sign that Yami's pretty much still Yami. Like I said, this chapter does have a lot of flashbacks in it, specifically from Yami's perspective, but some of these we've seen before. I'll go over a couple of them. I might not go over all of them, but I'll just go over a couple of them. We got Captain Yami in a flashback, the flashback with him and Henry. Like, so pretty much they have a flashback to the majority of the Black Bulls characters, and I think this adds to the story. It definitely slows down the pace of the story a little bit, because now, let's say next chapter it reveals something like huge, like, which it probably will, because like I said, it looked like the underworld is continuing to open, or at least there's having like one more gate that's gonna open. So this chapter right here kind of slow down a little bit and show us some flashbacks. I'm cool with that. Now we got the flashback between Yami and Henry. This shows the connection between Yami and Henry. We seen this in the show. We seen this. So I mean, it's pretty cool to retouch them, because I feel like it's the same flashback except from Yami's perspective on all of these. Because like when it comes to the flashback, there's one with Yami and Asta. We definitely got it from Asta's perspective. Now it's the same memory, but they both, it's cool to see that Yami also cherishes these memories, you know what I mean? Like, because Asta, especially because we know that the Black Bulls members cherish these memories, so it's cool to see Yami cherishes these too. Like the one with Asta, we know that Asta was very happy that somebody chose him to be part of their squad, and now seeing it from Yami's perspective, it's like Yami was very happy to have Asta. So it was really, really mutual, really healthy, positive relationship. See from Yami's perspective in his flashback, whenever Sekre got into the Black Bulls, that was pretty cool to see. Really nice to see that Yami cares about Sekre. I always knew Yami cared about Sekre too, because like he took her in as part of the squad in no time. Like, if you really think about it, she was there the whole time in bird form, and it was kind of cool to see Yami just induct new members into the Black Bulls. Like, obviously we had Asta and we had Noel, but you know, new members are always welcome, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we might have some more new members in the Black Bulls like coming up too, because there's a lot of misfits, and they even kind of touched on this in this chapter, because Nox says something in this chapter. He's like, these guys are messed up, but I don't know if how does he mean it, how he means it, because especially we don't have the official translations, but you guys get it. Like, more or less he says something like, these guys are messed up, but like, I'm sure he doesn't mean it in like a negative way. You guys just know how Nox is. Moving on to like some of the newer flashbacks, we do see Yami as a kid in this chapter. If you read the Quartet Nights, you already saw Yami as a kid. We already, you know, most of us, we already seen Yami as a kid, but it's always cool to see Yami's backstory expanded upon, because I feel like there's always some stuff that was never stated about certain characters, you know, and that's a lot of the time up to the community to come up with theories and connect the pieces. But there's always stuff that was never stated in the shaping these characters. Like, from this flashback right here, we see that when Yami was a kid, it was kind of difficult for him because a lot of people didn't like his magic type, which I kind of understand. It's kind of like dark magic. It does seem a little bit like sketchy if you kind of think about it like that, but just because he has a somewhat sketchy magic type, let's say dark magic is sketchy just for, you know, the reason that they didn't like his magic. I mean, that's the only reason I could think. I guess they probably could have been scared of it as well, because dark magic does seem something like something some people would be scared of. But anyways, they didn't really like his magic, and Julius ended up liking his magic. People have a theory about Julius like orchestrating a lot of stuff. I don't know if I buy into that theory just yet, but it is interesting to say the least, that theory right there. Most of you guys probably know. I don't want to get too much into it in this video because I really want to talk more about the chapter, but that is an interesting theory. Now, another flashback that I found was very interesting is kind of Yami's perspective on when he was getting taken away. Now, we know the perspective from the Black Bulls as he was getting taken away. They were very frantic. They were very nervous. They were very scared because they didn't know what was going to happen to Captain Yami if Xenon was able to take him away, and that's ultimately what ended up happening. Now, from Yami's perspective, what he was basically trying to say, because it did look like he was saying something, but I don't think we ever could like hear it in the anime, like what he was saying or anything like that. But in this chapter, it says he basically said something along the lines, once again, not the official translations, but you get a rough estimate. Basically, it says something along the lines of, you guys continue to live you guys continue to live your life the way that you want to. And I think that's pretty like good for an end quote. If that would have been like his final words, I think that would have been like a good final word to have as a captain to your squad. You know, I think most people would agree. But I think another thing we all can agree on is that we're happy that Captain Yami is still alive. I mean, I really did not want that man to die at all. Like, if somebody had to die, I'm gonna have to say it would have to be William. If I had to pick out of those two, because, you know, William still got some stuff that he needs to kind of redeem himself for, in my opinion. Everything I say is my opinion, but I feel like William still got some stuff he needs to redeem himself on. It would be kind of like how a lot of people were mad that Yuno got promoted to vice captain whenever Asta got blamed for some stuff that he didn't even do. And it would be like the same thing. Like, if Yami has to die but William survives and Yami didn't even do anything wrong to the kingdom, it would be like a similar situation. But yeah, this is a pretty good chapter. I mean, it's definitely setting up for what's to come. Like I said, I think the gates are opening, and that's gonna be really interesting to see. My thoughts on Morris personally, I wasn't too like into his story like that. I mean, just me personally, I just am more like of a fan of Patri. I think Patri was an excellent villain. You know, I think Xenon was an excellent villain. Morris, he really wasn't like anything special when it comes to villains as far as anything. I don't know. I mean, to me, he seemed more like a scientist than an actual warrior, if that makes sense. Like, he was, not to say like scientists can't be actual warriors, but it just seems like he wasn't the most powerful person to have as a villain. You know what I mean? You have to have like a powerful person as a villain, or else there's no threat. So I think the next threat is going to be a devil probably I don't know what devil it will be, but I think it's probably gonna be a devil in the flesh, because Magicula did put up a good fight and she wasn't even fully manifested. Maybe we get to see some Lucifero, maybe we get to see some Lucifugus, but who knows what's to come. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's been your boy NeoXO, and I'm out.